It's 5:42 on the 14th of July 2025. In the South China Sea, near Hainan Island, the U.S. carrier USS Ronald Reagan snaps to full alert as multiple unknown tracks bloom on the scope. Alarms rip through the ship, sailors sprint to battle stations, watertight doors slam, red light floods the passageways. Outside, the horizon flashes 5 Chinese YJ-21 anti-ship missiles already inbound, low clouds lit like lightning. The carrier's escorts, USS Halsey and USS Rafael Peralta, spin up SM-6 and ESSM. CIWS mounts whine to life. On the flight deck, a Super Hornet burns. Deck crews fighting flames as another jet claws for the sky. An E-2D Hawkeye, damaged but stubborn, prepares to launch. The sea heaves. The Aegis plots a storm of tracks, missiles, drones, something underwater. Viper 1 cleared hot, crackles the radio. The next 90 seconds decide everything. Keep the Reagan afloat, or watch steel, fire, and thousands of lives slide under the waves. No speeches, no time, just metal, speed, and a wall of flame racing straight at them. The South China Sea is no empty stretch of water. Every day, tankers and cargo ships pass through these lanes, carrying the fuel, food, and electronics that keep homes and businesses alive thousands of miles away. Protecting that flow is the job of the U.S. Carrier Strike Group, centered on USS Ronald Reagan. Their presence tells allies, trade will keep moving, seas will stay open, and America will not back down. But across the horizon, China has been preparing. Bases on Hainan bristle with launchers. H-6 Kelvin's bombers circle above, ready to drop new waves of YJ-21 hypersonic missiles. Silent below the waves, a Type 093 attack submarine lines up torpedoes. For Beijing, the goal is simple: break the USN, shield, prove the waters are theirs, and show the world that even America's biggest ships can bleed. The stakes could not be higher. If Reagan falls, it's not just one ship. It means lost lives, billions in damage, and a signal to allies that U.S. power is not guaranteed. It means trade routes strangled, prices rising, and trust collapsing. For Washington, holding the line here is about more than steel and sailors. It's about the credibility of the entire Pacific Alliance. Allies are watching closely. In Tokyo, Manila, and Canberra, phones light up as teams track satellite cues and reconnaissance feeds. Shipowners call insurers. Rates climb with every plume on the water. Southeast Asian ports wait nervously, wondering whose rules will govern the next shipment. If the U.S. holds, partners gain time. If it falters, maps shift overnight, and every convoy that follows will sail with fear. In moments like this, the fight is no longer distant strategy. It's survival, and the question spreads beyond the ships. Which side do you think holds the advantage in this clash? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China, and subscribe to follow the next move. 5:44. Just 2 minutes after the first alarm, the Reagan's Combat Information Center is a blur of voices. Radar operators count 5 YJ-21 hypersonic missiles closing in fast. Their arcs slash across the digital map like knives. Weapons free, comes the order. USS Halsey launches a spread of SM-6 interceptors, long white streaks leaping from her vertical launch cells. Each interceptor is designed to climb high and meet the incoming missile head-on, speed against speed. Seconds later, the USS Rafael Peralta joins in, firing both SM-6 and ESSM for mid-range defense. Her Aegis system plots every path, broadcasting firing solutions to the rest of the strike group. On deck, sailors brace as the roar of close-in weapons begins. The Phalanx CIWS mounts Gatling guns with radar eyes spin up to full speed, their barrels glowing as they prepare for the last line of defense. The first wave collides in midair. 2 YJ-21 explode in brilliant fireballs, intercepted at altitude. But 3 keep racing forward faster than sound, their plasma trails scarring the horizon. The Reagan swerves slightly, her massive frame heaving through the water to narrow its profile. Every second matters. The ship needs angles that give defensive guns a chance. Above, a pair of FA-18EF Super Hornets scramble. One climbs hard, hunting Chinese drones with sidewinders. The other, call sign Viper 1, dives low, JDAM bombs slung under its wings. Its target: the very launchers on Hainan Island. If they can hit those sites, the next missile wave might never come. Meanwhile, an E-2D Hawkeye claws into the sky despite damage. Its radar dish spins, feeding target tracks to every US ship in range. Picture clean on the left, clutter on the right. The crew calls, meaning some threats are gone, but more slip through. In the dark sea below, sonar screens light up, a torpedo in the water. The Type 093 submarine has joined the battle. USS Halsey deploys countermeasures, decoys streaming aft, as sailors feel the tension of metal hunting metal beneath them. Explosions flash across the horizon, thunder rolling over the strike group. Missiles burst, flares drop, countermeasures scatter like fireflies. And yet, the incoming line does not break completely. 2 YJ-21 remain, plunging toward the Reagan with seconds to impact. 5:47. The sky is crowded now. Beyond the hypersonic missiles, another wave emerges: stealthy GJ-11 Sharpsword drones, skimming low over the water. Their radar signature is faint, almost ghost-like. USS Halsey tracks several, launching ESSM to intercept. Some drones go down in fireballs, but others slip past. The crew braces. These machines are programmed to hit radar arrays and flight decks, the ship's eyes and ears. On Reagan, damage control teams race to contain fires left by missile debris. Smoke fills compartments. A Super Hornet sits crippled on the deck, blackened by flames, while deck crews clear space for others to launch. Every second counts. If the runway clogs, the carrier's air wing cannot strike back. The Rafael Peralta shifts tactics, launching ASROC anti-submarine rockets. Each one arcs high before splashing down, delivering a torpedo that hunts the Chinese submarine lurking below. The sonar room crackles with pings. The enemy boat is still out there, silent and patient, waiting for its kill shot. Guns thunder as CIWS bursts light up the night. Several drones explode, but not all. One manages to dive and crash its warhead into Reagan's forward radar dome. Sparks and fragments scatter across the deck. The carrier's vision blinks, but doesn't go dark. Partial capability remains. The E-2D Hawkeye in the air takes over, extending the eyes of the fleet. Pressure mounts. The enemy attacks from every domain: air, surface, and undersea. Sailors tighten grips on consoles. The ship heaves into another turn, presenting a smaller target to the next volley. Commanders know. One gap, one slip, and the enemy gets through. On shore, Viper 1 calls bombs away. 2 JDAM walk across a mobile launcher site. Secondary blasts ripple through fuel drums, but new tracks still rise from deeper inside Hainan. At sea, a U-6 torpedo chases Halsey's wake. A tow decoy drags it wide, a dull thump quaking the hull. Aegis keeps fighting, degraded but steady, stitching the air picture together one fragile thread at a time. This is no longer just defense, it's survival under constant fire. And it raises the clash to the audience too. In this moment of drones versus steel, do you believe the US can hold, or China will break through? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China, and subscribe to see how this battle unfolds. 5:52. Just when US crews think the line is holding, a new alarm cuts through the noise. Low altitude contacts, multiple, fast. This isn't drones. It's sea-skimming missiles, fired in pairs from mobile launchers hidden along the Hainan coast. Smaller than YJ-21 but harder to spot, they fly only meters above the water, radar barely catching them in time. The escorts pivot fast. Halsey angles sensors down, pushing Aegis to the limit. ESSM streak out, chasing shapes hugging the sea. Rafael Peralta, still tracking a submarine, spins her CIWS toward the new threat. Gun crews sweat, ears ringing from non-stop fire, eyes straining to catch blips that appear almost too late. This is the nightmare. Layered attacks from above, below, and now surface level. Decision time shrinks to seconds. If even one missile punches through, Reagan could take a crippling hit near the waterline. Vampires inbound, 30 seconds. Echoes inside Reagan. The carrier lurches into another hard turn, metal groaning. Damage control teams stand ready, hoses charged. eyes on likely impact zones. The commander calls for electronic warfare. Jammers light up. False echoes scatter across radar. Decoys inflate and splash behind the carrier. Anything to buy time. Within miles, a missile skims closer. Phalanx CIWS roars, streams of tracers crossing the dark. The shape erupts into fragments, splashing harmlessly short. Reagan lives this time, but the twist is clear. The enemy adapts, layering threats faster than defenses can reset. Each wave drains more ammo, more focus, more breath. The fight is only tightening. 5:58. The last wave arrives. From the horizon, 2 remaining YJ-21 dive steeply while more sea skimmers surge in low. The Reagan's escorts are running hot, magazines thinning, crews exhausted, sensors strained. Every weapon now is committed. Halsey launches her final SM-6, contrails slicing skyward. One missile finds its mark, detonating in a fireball high above. But another streak keeps falling, its trail, like a comet, pointed straight at the Reagan. Impact in 20 seconds. The carrier lurches hard to port, engines straining. On deck, crews push a damaged Hornet overboard to clear space. Flames lick across steel as another jet claws into the air, loaded for counterstrike. Below decks, sailors brace against bulkheads, jaws clenched. Rafael Peralta unleashes ESSM, then spins her CIWS to life. The rapid-fire guns hammer the night. Sparks shower into the sea as fragments rain down. But one hypersonic warhead survives, cutting closer, seconds away. Reagan's forward CIWS roars, tracers rip through the dark. Streams of tungsten tearing across the bow. A brilliant flash. The missile erupts, a shockwave slamming across the deck. The carrier shudders but holds. Cheers mix with exhaustion. Survival is measured in breaths. Then the sea skimmers arrive, low, fast, relentless. One dives toward Reagan's starboard. A decoy drags it wide, exploding harmlessly. Another is shredded mid-air by gunfire, showering sparks over the waves. But a third breaks through. Alarms scream. Sailors grip consoles. The missile streaks toward the waterline only to vanish in a thunderous blast as Peralta's CIWS rakes it apart at the last instant. The battle narrows to seconds and meters. Every hit avoided feels like a miracle, every gun still firing a lifeline. The horizon finally clears. No more tracks. The sea is littered with wreckage, smoke drifting into the night sky. The climax is brutal but decisive. The Reagan lives, scarred but afloat. Crews breathe again, knowing another wave could come anytime. And now it's your turn after all this. Who do you think proves stronger in this clash? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China and subscribe so you don't miss what comes after. 6, 10. The sea falls quiet, broken only by smoke drifting from burning wreckage. USS Ronald Reagan still floats, but her decks are scarred, her radar dome crippled, and entire sections below scorched from fires. Hundreds of sailors fight to keep systems alive. She has survived, but only just. For the US, the outcome is both relief and warning. The strike group held its ground. Hypersonic missiles were intercepted, drones destroyed, submarine torpedoes diverted. The Reagan did not sink. That fact alone signals to allies that American defenses, though strained, still hold under pressure. But the cost is sobering. An entire magazine of interceptors nearly emptied in minutes. CIWS barrels overheated. Crews stretched to exhaustion. The carrier that once seemed untouchable was nearly gutted by a mix of drones, missiles, and undersea threats worth only a fraction of her price. Each cheap weapon forced an expensive answer. Allies watch with unease. Japan and the Philippines see proof the US will fight, but also that the fight is harder than before. Insurance markets spike again, and traders whisper, if this is one night, what happens in a week of war? For China, the message is equally clear. They can hurt an American supercarrier. The Reagan is afloat, but scarred and slowed. Each adaptation stealth drones, sea skimmers, torpedoes tested layers of US defense. The clash is no longer hypothetical. It's real, brutal, costly for both. The result tonight is survival, not victory. The Reagan sails on, but commanders know the next wave could be larger, sharper, deadlier. Logs tell the story. Forward array offline, power rerouted, one elevator jammed, flooding contained, smoke still bleeding from vents. Escorts tighten their screen, while medevac birds lift the wounded and tugs stand by. So now the question extends beyond the ocean. Who gained more from this fight, the US that endured, or China that proved it could wound? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China, and subscribe so you don't miss the next escalation.